Welcome to the Didi and Lital Show. Advice, thoughts, and stories from a married couple on cybersecurity, technology, and life in general. Now here are your hosts, Didi and Lital.
Hello and welcome to the Didi and Lital Show. It's another week.
And
it's getting a little bit colder and the leaves are changing and fall is coming and the days are shorter and I don't like it.
And football. Don't forget football. I don't like football either.
I don't like the fact that summer is over. I like summer around here. Like fall is beautiful, but it gives you a sense of like summer is ending.
I used to wait for fall.
I don't like it.
Because fall meant that football season starts and we would win. And we had to endure, those of us that watched the game yesterday. Last night, the Patriots played the Jets. The fucking Jets. The chokiest, shittiest team in the league. And they decimated us.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to have a tough season.
Oh, it's going to be a long, painful season. All the illusions of the, hey, we beat Cincinnati and, oh, it was a close game against Seattle. All those dreams are gone. Because that team that we played against did so many stupid penalties. We got 100 yards of offense just on their stupid penalties. And we still scored shit. It's creative. You needed to be really good to be this bad. You need to be intentionally bad to be this bad. That's why I'm wearing my Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl shirt, because there was a guy once that used to cover for all this shit, and I really hope that now Tua basically has mush for brain, and maybe Tom will play for Miami and they'll win the Super Bowl there. Dave, any thoughts? Any commentary there?
Please, no.
Why not?
Well, he's not that good on TV. I don't know if you heard his call.
Oh, he's terrible. Bill, by the way, is awesome.
Yeah, Bill's great.
Bill is like Waldorf and Stadler put into one and knows football. He sits there on the Eli Manning and Peyton Manning show and basically destroys whatever team is playing and the Patriots.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I can't remember. Even last season when we were terrible, I don't remember us laying down. Last night, it looked like they weren't trying.
Last night, that's why it was so bad. The O-line is such a sieve. It looks like you and I can pass rush the quarterback through that O-line.
I know.
I think there was at one point that there were 5 people blocking 4 people, and still the 4 people met at the quarterback.
I know.
That was terrible. Yeah. Okay.
Then at one point, the Patriots just started holding. Like on every play. That became the new game plan.
Yes.
Just hold them.
Hold them and pray. Hold and pray. At some point, they just stopped calling the holding calls because even that didn't help.
Right.
Like Dave Andrews was holding somebody and he was still running over him.
Yep.
Yes, you were about to say something?
I was about to say, for those that fast forward, that the part of sports radio.
Yes.
Now it's the time to come back. If you told me that that's what they do when they listen to us. Just saying. Yeah, that was an interesting week. So news came this week about, I would say, a legendary type of
I don't want to go into the politics part of this.
Not politics. I'm rooting for the right camp, and I would think that people would agree that in the history of intelligence and warfare, this specific supply chain attack, which happened, if you didn't listen to the news.
Let's start with the news. Explain the news. I'll give my commentary. You give yours.
Yeah. You want to go?
Sure. So let's do the dates things right. So
I think Wednesday this week?
No, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Tuesday was the 17th and the 18th. Let's assume that I got this right because I don't really care. The 17th and the 18th of September in 2024. And Tuesday, about 3,000 to 5,000 pagers blew up in Lebanon.
3:30 in the afternoon, middle of the day. Thousands of people in Beirut and other places holding pages They got a message, and a few seconds after the message came in, boom, some few were dead. Most of the people that had those pages were injured, different injuries depending
on
where they held the pager, if they took it out or not. And then the day after, another round of similar attacks, similar bombings of allegedly walkie-talkies, but also
It's not bombings, it's explosions.
Explosions of some Hezbollah-owned walkie-talkies. Also rumors about some intercoms and other basically device. The Israeli military or Mossad was said to be involved.
Let's take one step back before this. So one thing that I do want to clarify.
Yeah.
Right now in the world, pagers used to be really hot. You know, in the 90s, it was like a status symbol for the various doctors and lawyers and whatever, and maybe still some doctors that are my
maybe
age.
It's still if they're on pager duty.
Yeah, but the reality.
It's not a status. It's being effed for the weekend.
No, right now, I think it's safe to say that the people that mainly use pagers are drug dealers. So you're either a terrorist or a drug dealer that doesn't want to be spied on.
So basically, a few months ago, Hassan Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah, had a big talk to his people, and he said the Israelis are spying on us on WhatsApp, on our cell phones. He threw his cell phone and said to all these people, threw away, it was televised, through your device, the Israelis are listening to your device. So people did, and they moved to use different walkie-talkies, other ways of communication, and pagers. Apparently now, this way of communication
blew up.
Got them, literally blew up. And it's quite remarkable, I have to say. I mean, I will comment. I know you don't want to comment. I want to comment. I do want to say that in the history of warfare, whatever you think about that, you know, this will be remembered together with some really amazing things like breaking the Enigma and other things. The capabilities of doing an very, very targeted attack at specific people at a specific time without causing a collateral damage, with actually not hurting that many people themselves, but just injuring them. With all this technical sophistication of booby trapping the thing, and then, you know, the cyber capabilities of transmitting the whatever signal that caused it to explode at a certain moment, it's pretty remarkable. So just going to say, whomever did it, this is going to go down with the history of warfare, for sure.
Awesome. The reason that I want to raise this in this podcast has nothing to do with how remarkable it is. It has to deal with one thing that I think this, as soon as this happened. So as you know, I'm a known pessimist, and I always see trouble coming over the horizon. When Michal, the CEO of RSA Israel, now the something of Microsoft Israel,
I think she's head of Israel R&D.
Something like that.
Center. Yep.
Something like that. When Stuxnet happened, and she celebrated this, I said, "Why are we celebrating this?" She said, "Oh, this is awesome." I said, "No, this is terrible." And she said, "Why do you say that?" And I said, "Simple. Everybody now learned the pattern, and
it's terrible that it's exposed.
It's terrible that it's exposed, and now everybody's going to follow the pattern." And lo and behold, this was 2008, 2009. Then Aurora came, and the attack on Google. Then the RSA breach. Basically, everybody learned the attack pattern of following the attack pattern of an APT, Advanced Persistent Threat, which was what Stuxnet was. And now every single one of us needs to deal with shitty malware that's military grade, that infects everything in our world. And this was a harbinger. It was the first time that somebody saw the APT attacks and said, oh, this is a good idea. When I look at this attack,
It opens.
it basically says to the world, supply chains are super vulnerable. SolarWinds was a one-off, and everybody thought that they know what they're doing. This gives us an indication of how fragile our global supply chain actually is. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Dave is working here on a Mac. And this Mac, if it's especially the newer generation, has the TPM. TPM is the cryptography module that everybody relies on.
Yep.
Do you know who makes it? Do you know that most likely if it's
South Korean company? I don't know.
most likely Foxconn. If it's manufactured
Either China or
if it's an Apple chip,
is it Apple who usually produces it?
More likely than not,
Foxconn.
Exactly. So basically, all our cryptographical modules, that all our cryptography and all our security,
and everything like that we're based on,
yes,
we rely on, if you're doing the biometrics, everything when you're talking device bound, it's device bound to the TPM, which is the chip that you have that encrypts your device.
It's very nice because it's not just encrypt your device, it's a very strong way to generate random numbers, which is a very hard part of cryptography. Basically, the root of trust of all cryptography is manufactured in de facto and enemy state. For everything we do. Does anybody think about it?
Didn't we talk about it in the Cranes episode? By the way, go back to the Cranes episode we talked about spying through cranes.
We talked about the spying through cranes and the supply chain and things like that. We did talk about it.
But that was like fringe. It was like unique to cranes that are located in a specific thing. You were talking about something potentially way more pervasive, which is day-to-day device. Every device could be in a way breached.
Yeah, we in the cranes episode, we mainly focused on the fact that our whole supply chain is super focused and we have vulnerabilities in our chain in terms of complete dependence on other countries for delivery of things.
Right.
Being independent versus being not independent. This is just being blind.
I mean, it's not like blind. You cannot get a phone or a laptop, which is chips are not manufactured in a foreign country.
I don't agree.
Which phone is completely manufactured?
I don't know phone. I don't know things. Here are two places that have actual fabs that manufacture chips. So if you buy an Intel chip that has a TPM embedded, it's manufactured in Haifa. Well, you can't say that now the Israelis can spy on you, but Intel chips that go into most of your computers are manufactured in Haifa. Not in Haifa, in wherever.
But if you're buying a device that had Intel inside, is it purely Intel inside, or you have other chips and components in it that are coming from other places?
I'm talking about right now. If you need to trust the compute,
so you're looking for what's the motherboard, what's
the chipsets,
the TPU.
Exactly. So some of these things, there are parts that I hope people actually look at the complete supply chain and understand this. But here's again the complexity of the supply chain. Let's go back to another supply chain attack that I suffered through, which is the RSA breach. Somebody basically attacked RSA, allegedly, to allegedly attack Lockheed. Because everybody looked at what Lockheed...
By stealing the...
it doesn't matter what they did. We can bring in Sam. Somebody can listen.
We already had 2 episodes about
exactly.
it.
Somebody can listen to Sam talking about this. But in reality, what happened...
it's a stepping stone to be able to get into... If you break into the security company that secures a company, and you have basically key to the door.
Yes. And that's going to be at least from my perspective, this should raise the alarm bells for all of us that we think of the Okta attacks, the
Sure.
Microsoft attacks.
Sure.
Basically, somebody's ringing the doorbell for us and explaining to us, hey, all these things are supply chain attacks. And getting visibility into your software bill of material and your hardware bill of material and understanding how things work and who knows about your bill of material, securing your bill of material, like understanding that this group of pagers is going to end up with a customer. Is that a problem? Right now, nobody thinks about these things. Right now, most of invoices sit on a completely open S3 bucket. Like, for example, when you and I were joking about our friend, the tree lady, and you go into Newton's secure website, basically all our documents are sitting there in an open S3 bucket.
Sure.
That nobody cares about. And think of the fact that most manufacturing companies, most manufacturers are as secure or less than the city of Newton, meaning that all their invoices are there on the public S3 bucket available to the world, and everybody can take a look at this.
So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are two areas to talk about, and they're a little bit separated, which is the hardware supply chain problem and the software supply chain problem. They might be similar, but they're also very different.
It's also the delivery supply chain. When you think of, forget the hardware, software, to understand my client list and my invoices and my order list. This right now, this is not considered. It's considered business classified. It's not considered at the risk level of what this is. This is where, we sell our data all the time. People sell their data all the time. They don't actually understand the implications of what it means to sell their data. So yes, there's software supply chain. Yes, there's hardware supply chain, but there's also bill of material, software lists, invoice lists, all these things. And people usually don't actually spend the time to think of, if I have this information, what can I do with it? And this...
Just, it's endless.
Yes.
It's endless. Like, if you start thinking the way an attacker will think and looking for, like, the most vulnerable part of it, there was it WannaCry, the attack that came through the Ukraine tax authorities software that was compromised? I forget if it was this one or there was another one. But the point is, if somebody looks at your entire inventory of software used, they can find a way in by finding the easiest to backdoor to software, which might be something that is the tax payment software that you have to download in order to pay for. In that case, it was, I think, Ukraine or maybe a different country. I don't remember the details exactly. But that was kind of like by backdooring this very easy, apparently, to backdoor software. Basically, everyone that pays taxes, which is massive corporates, because every corporate that has international presence had, to pay taxes in Ukraine. It's a big enough country that any corporate will have presence there. Got hacked and was involved in that attack. So it is so hard to really get a grasp of your entire attack surface, because it's basically any software you're using that you need to think, and you have no idea about its build. And even if you don't like it, in some, like, I'm sure a lot of companies would prefer not to use this software by this third party to pay taxes in the Ukraine, but they had to, because that's the only way to pay taxes in the Ukraine. So it's just so hard for us to actually get a grasp of that. And then you're talking about hardware. Oh my God, like how can we even think about that?
Most of us don't understand the hardware.
People don't understand how hardware, we just go get it, we buy it. We need to trust somebody, so we'll trust Apple or Lenovo or whatever.
Or Huawei.
Or whomever. This is a problem. Like it's much bigger than any single organization. Unless you're at the level that you can manufacture your own stuff.
Yeah. And by the way, you mentioned Lenovo. So Lenovo is a Chinese manufacturer, and it replaced IBM.
Mm-hmm.
A local
they bought IBM. IBM computing, personal computing.
Exactly. They bought IBM personal computing. And same happened with Motorola. There's a big chunk of Motorola that's... So you think you're buying...
The Motorola walkie-talkies are now Chinese too?
I think so.
Oh.
Yep.
I don't think
I think they are
military level.
I wouldn't know. So these are the things that people.
I hope not.
Exactly. So this is where there's a reason why certain armies that will remain unnamed still use
their own manufactured stuff.
Exactly.
For communication.
Exactly. That is manufactured there in Rishon LeZion or something like that, because of the fact that you don't want those things compromised.
Very easy to insert a bug into
very easy to insert the bug, especially people don't understand. Now, here's another thing to think about. Are you aware of the fact that if I build software and use open source, I have a reporting rule. I need to tell everybody all the open source that I use. Because that's part of the open source agreement.
Mm-hmm.
I need to give acknowledgement of all the open source that I use to the version. Now here's a thing.
So people know what source code you're using and can, if they want to attack you, they can kind of alter the source code and insert a backdoor over there.
Node, for example, Node.js is... Sean likes to post this, that Node.js looks like a very, very pretty city on the top, but basically there's like 3 lines of code there somewhere in the middle that is maintained by some guy somewhere that nobody knows, and he's overworked and over-supported, like NPM and NVM and some of those fundamental sub-technologies. It's so easy to insert something there. How do you know what diligence is done for the review of this? And this is where it's going to be a little bit of an AI war. Why is it going to be an AI war? Because while everybody's putting the AI resources into Copilot, and I saw some really cool technology by other companies that kind of basically scan your code, run scans on your code, AI through this, and build you vulnerability graphs to understand where's your weakest parts of your code, where things are actually could be impacted. It's the other way around as well. Bad guys can now say, you know what?
Let's scan the code.
Let's scan everything. Because right now it means that my code, which I spent securing, is this much, but I'm built on an iceberg yay big, that I will never spend the time learning about every nook and cranny of it. And we need to be strong as an industry to build signed and trusted versions that are basically approved end to end. And somebody says, you know what? This version with everything in it. And I think right now, you and I had a very, very fun conversation about our favorite topic, which is FedRAMP. I think the federals are the only ones that certify a version with all its open source, all the way down to the nooks and crannies. And even they, I suspect, are not thinking through this, because you need to think of the regulators. Whenever I think of regulators, everybody thinks of like the smartest person ever that thinks through these things. And when I think of regulators, I think of the tree lady. Like basically the people that couldn't get a real job in the industry.
I want to bring us back to the point that you said at the beginning that attacks like that basically give ideas to
Yep.
those that are not necessarily nation state cyber players, but to the criminal guys.
Yep.
It gives them inspiration and ideas to what to do next. Some of them basically are operated by nation states, and nation states sometimes give them the capabilities, or they just play on behalf of nation states. Do you think that will inspire them to do things like that? I mean, it is not the Stuxnet. At the end of the day, this is very much like device. Like, is there a world that we will see a ransomware, tapering with the HVAC system of a manufacturing facility heated up? Tell them, if you're not going to pay the ransom, your place is going to heat up and all your manufacturing line is not going to work. Like, I can think of scenarios when, hardware, not software-based ransomware, we shut off your IT, but, things that are a little bit more like that can play a role. But I don't know enough about this world of hardware.
So here's some of my creative ideas that I thought of, and I'm not.
So you're not thinking about heating up a manufacturing facility and, I don't know, killing the whole stuff over there?
Nah, that doesn't matter. Nobody cares about staff. Nobody cares about people.
No, not people. Like, you cannot operate if it hits above a certain...
No, you're overthinking this.
I don't know.
Much simpler way is think of all the Philips MRI machines that are everywhere. Those are
changing the specs. That was discussed many times about how vulnerable CTs, MRIs, either stopping to work or like precision changes.
But now if I'm
you start killing people.
No, I just make them stop working.
Yeah, that's like all ransomware on hospitals.
Yeah, but right now, ransomware on hospitals needs to find a software way to get in.
Yeah, you can put it into the build of the MRI.
You can put it a kill switch.
I think that all of them are thinking about it.
No, they're not.
I mean, you can do it on any of those.
So I think right now, every place that has...
all OT, the OT space is all about that.
Yes, and the OT space is very open and unprotected. If we want, we can bring our friend Corinne that is thinking about this, and that's her day job, to bring her over and think through this. Mm-hmm. We were talking about this when we were talking about the cranes, but there's a million little pieces of things that now are open to the world as an idea of, let's take this down. Simple example, cash registers. More likely than not, Square and Toast basically own the space. They have dedicated hardware. Let's take that down. And now you can
Those
start...
are basically tablets.
No, all the scanning stuff has those dedicated things.
Yeah, the POS machines.
Point of sale, really nice. Hospitals, in every part of it, is now going to be vulnerable, not just software, because people are saying, you know what? This thing is manufactured in Hungary, and this is going to all U.S. hospitals. Let me stick something there. Hungary is clearly vulnerable.
The thing is that most of those things feel to me like a one-timer. You turn them on, you use them for ransomware. If it is not nation state, we want to, make all hospitals in the U.S. stop working if a nation state want to do it. But if you are for a criminal to actually use it, it's basically... you run it one time.
No.
Maybe you get your ransom.
No. Right now, there's a level of distrust in hardware in Lebanon that is unreal.
Yeah, they're basically now doing controlled explosions of, I think, toasters and kettles and all those kind of things. Like everything electronic is now...
Basically, this opens up U.S. hospitals to let's call it they can't throw away the gear. Now you open the world into basically continuous extortion of continuous protection pay. You say, you know what? I own the API for this. You don't do that. You don't pay me continuously. This opens up a whole bunch of places.
Yeah, you'll have to think, what's the cost of replacing an MRI machine versus paying a regular? Maybe it's basically a tax.
Exactly. There's going to be... Taxes were created. As you know, I love taxes. I love taxes. I love big government. I think that this is the best thing. No, I don't. Taxes were created by a bully sitting on a bridge with a big club asking somebody money to pass over the bridge.
So you're saying a North Korean or a Russian attacker can say, oh, it's not a problem. We're not going to shut off your MRI machine. Just pay us a cent a day to keep it working.
This is
AR,
exactly,
basically.
versus ransomware that you can easily get rid of. Now you opened all hospitals in the US to basically paying a tax to Putin. Possibly. You opened up...
You're giving now ideas to our enemies.
No.
We're just giving...
No.
You think they already have those ideas in mind?
Of course they did. They saw pagers blow up. They say, awesome. Now we can get those dummies to pay taxes to us as well. And because half the hospitals are woke, they like to pay taxes. So maybe they'll enjoy paying taxes to communists because they are communists. And I said that I don't want to talk about politics, but yes,
you're way worse than me. Like,
no.
I'm kind of delicate when I bring it.
I think hating taxes, if Dave, you're a normal human being,
it's
right?
It's not paying taxes. It's your reference to labeling people as communists, like bluntly and easily. Fine.
Yeah, but Dave, do you like paying taxes?
Oh yeah, it's a blast. I have
a blast. Literally is the topic of the day.
I have a very delicate relationship with the IRS.
Yes,
but to answer your question, no, I don't like paying taxes.
Nobody likes paying taxes, and everybody thinks that their tax dollars goes to the wrong people. Now we get the chance to pay Putin taxes because we have
basically ransomware.
Exactly,
already.
And because replacing hardware is so complicated. Now we basically opened up the world to a backdoor that somebody will continuously extort us for taxes.
That's crap. It's really bad.
But you agree that
Optimism.
But you agree that you didn't think of that, right?
Yeah, the idea of making it a regular ransom instead of a one-time that you can wipe off. I hope there's going to be security companies that can just replace the bugged component, and a lot of new ideas can come up.
Yes.
New startups, people that will fix hardware. Let's get people to understand hardware. I think that's the area that we don't have enough people understanding hardware.
Yep.
Well, we need to go because we have another guest coming up for the next show.
Awesome.
So with that, we'll conclude.
We finished with Optimism. The Patriots suck and hardware sucks even more.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, if you like the show, please rate and review us wherever you get your podcast. The Didi and Lital Show is a weekly podcast. Please let us know if you want to be on the show. Until next time, see you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.